Welcome to update number 14 on the Lackawanna cutoff. We're going to talk about lots of stuff on New Jersey Transit and Amtrak. Hi, I'm Chuck Walsh, and we're here at Andover, New Jersey at the future New Jersey Transit station stop. Since we were last here months ago, there's lots of spray paint all over the place, and it's not graffiti. It's different types of indications for survey work that's been done over the past week or so. It's been very recent. And we're going to go into that, of what that means. We're going to talk about Roseville Tunnel, which is about a mile from here in that direction. And we're also going to talk about Amtrak to Scranton and developments have been taking place. And all of this is intertwined. It's not by any coincidence that all this stuff is happening at the same time. So, for the benefit of those of you who may be only picking up this particular series at this point in time, you may feel lost if I don't at least give you a Cliff Notes version of what has happened. And I'll try to do that as quickly as possible. I'll see if I can do this in a minute or less, from basically the very beginning of the creation of the cutoff to this very day that we're making this film, this update on the Lackawanna cutoff. Basically, the cutoff is a high-speed line, was a high-speed line that was built between 1908 and 1911. It's operated by the Lackawanna Railroad for 49 years until basically 1960, when the merger with Erie Lackawanna takes place. Erie Lackawanna operates the line until 1976. Conrail takes over, operates it until 1979 as a freight railroad at that point. They eventually abandon the line. The tracks will come up in 1984 after a protracted effort to try to save the line. The line, the 28-mile line between Port Morris and the Delaware River, Delaware Water Gap, is sold to two different developers, one of whom wants to basically rip apart all of the fill on the line, which would destroy the line forever. That's where myself and a number of other people come to the fore, and it ends up in 1989 with a bond issue being placed on the November ballot that is approved for $25 million for acquisition of railroad rights-of-way, which will go towards acquiring the cutoff, which will take until 2001. They have to condemn the line and using eminent domain. 2009, 2010, there's federal money that comes to rebuild the line, put tracks back. That doesn't happen every day. 2011 and 2012, New Jersey Transit is actually putting down track. Not here yet, but in 3 disconnected sections from Port Morris, about 4 total miles. I direct you to part 33 on this of the series of Lackawanna cutoff videos, where we'll take a drone over the 7.3 miles. That'll make that whole, basically that issue, much clearer to you, I think, than me trying to explain it here. I think I've gone over the minute, but basically in 2012 there's construction that takes place, but that is the last of it. We've gone now, you can do the math, we're now in 2022. There's been no construction in between. However, that is about to change, because on April 13th, New Jersey Transit approved $32.5 million to the contractor Schiavone LLC of Secaucus, New Jersey, to rehabilitate not only Roseville Tunnel, but clear out the right-of-way, including Andover Station Stop. And that's where the spray painting is apparently the result of there being the demarcations for where the station will be. Even over here, there's a line. I'm literally standing on a culvert that's going to be replaced. And there's another culvert up yonder 500 feet or so at Hudson Farm. Hudson Farm has been really the problem over the past 7-8 years. It's caused delays. Long story short, the folks in Andover Township, we're in Andover Township as it turns out, have worked out a deal with the folks at Hudson Farm, and anyway, they will be able to replace the culvert, which is basically a pipe, over on Hudson Farm, and there will be a culvert over here on the cutoff that will also be replaced. Once that work is done, then the work on Roseville Tunnel will commence. And when that commences, that will be a 2-year project. Now, at this point, there's a design phase, and then there's the construction phase of the project. When the design phase is done, we're going to be seeing actual work being done, and trees are going to come down, but also there's going to be major work at Roseville Tunnel. Once again, Roseville Tunnel is about a mile from here. Now, with all that, what about Amtrak? Well, it's not a coincidence, as I said, that Amtrak is coming to the fore now because of the fact that, well, everyone's been waiting for this section here to be resolved, and it's been waiting for Hudson Farm. Now that that is resolved, work will now begin, but also we have Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, PennDOT, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Now we understand things are starting to gel, because this particular project, the culverts, you would think, oh my gosh, what does a culvert have to do with this? Well, the culverts have been holding this up. It was a requirement by the Department of Environmental Protection in New Jersey that the culvert, actually it was only that culvert, this culvert was thrown in, shall I say, quote unquote, to the project, but that culvert at Hudson Farm had to be replaced before work on the cutoff could resume. That's going to move forward, so now the whole project can move forward, and that opens the door to Amtrak. Now, where did Amtrak come in? Well, in 2020, Amtrak announces that they have put the New York City to Scranton route on their map of proposed new services that could be run via Amtrak. At this point, we know that, once again, Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, and even PennDOT and other folks, the Pennsylvania Northeast Regional Railroad Authority, are basically jointly working together to see this project through. A lot of work to still be done. Amtrak is only part of this. The Federal Railroad Administration is really the one who is receiving all the money and will be making, presumably with Amtrak, the decision on which corridors will be funded. There's lots of money available, billions of dollars, but the question is which corridors will be chosen. We know that this particular corridor, Scranton to New York City, is one of them, but it is going to be a competition. There's no doubt about it, and there's going to be heavy political infighting. We can pretty much assume that that's going to take place. In the end, however, we hope that this, of course, will be chosen as one of those corridors which will be reactivated in this case, because it's been almost 50 years now, over 50 years actually, since passenger rail service has traveled over this line. Now, what will happen next is that we're waiting for the FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration, to make further announcements in terms of what will be required for the different corridors, this one included, to apply for the federal funding. That announcement, we're being told, is going to be sometime later this year, or maybe even sometime after the first of the year in 2023. So it's unclear exactly what is going to be further required beyond what we already know. There's a study that's been going on in Pennsylvania that is, from what I understand, is paused so to find out if there's any additional requirements. They're going to be, I'll say, thrown in to the big package that's going to need to be submitted to the Federal Railroad Administration and Amtrak. So that is basically where we are now. The good news, we have the New Jersey Transit project to Andover clearly moving forward. That is, up until now, for the time we've been doing this particular video series, which now will be shortly moving into our 8th calendar year, we've never had the assurance, absolute assurance, that the project was moving forward. It was like, oh, we hope, there's signs that something's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. Finally, we're at that point where things are going to move forward on the Andover section. And because of the intertwining of the Amtrak project as well, the impact of this moving forward is clear on the Amtrak project. So where do we go from here? Well, stay tuned, basically. There's nothing further I can tell you. There's a lot of unknowns, but over the next few months, things are going to definitely be happening. Not only physically, which is something new for us to see construction now return after over 10 years. There's been nothing happening tangible that we could say. Yes, there have been things happening, but it's a little bit difficult for us to basically say to you, oh, there's stuff happening, but you don't see anything happening. Well, we're finally going to get to the point where we're going to see stuff happening. And Amtrak is coming along as well. So potentially many things will be happening over the next few months. We will keep you up to date on that. So, in the meantime, I hope you look forward to update number 15 on the Lackawanna cutoff. And once again, you may want to poke into part 33 on the Lackawanna cutoff, which will give you that the droning over the cutoff between Port Morris and here, just to give you that background. So thank you for watching and stay tuned.